Iran war.
Do you support the Iran war?
A little bit.
All right, why do you support the Iran war? Take it away.
Well, I have two Assyrians that live next door to me. They're both men. They live together. They're not weird or nothing like that. They just live together because it makes sense. But they literally told me that probably 90% of the people over there want this to happen. They don't want to see any casualties upon the regular people, but they hate the regime. And they're totally proud of President Trump. Totally. I
Yeah,
mean,
great. So
go ahead.
the first thing I would like to say is you say you support it due to regime change. Due to the way Iran's government works, I mean they would have to kill a large majority of people in Iran just so that regime change doesn't happen. Um, the other thing that I would mention is, do you
Hold
know
on
how
one
many
second.
times there has been a successful regime change within that happened due to a war?
If you hold on for a second, I was going to ask you to repeat that. I had a phone call coming in. So before the regime change, what were you
Yeah,
talking about?
like you say, like that you support the Iran war because you want to see a regime change. That's great. However, we would have to kill a large majority of people in Iran in order to end the regime. The second thing that I would mention to regime change is, do you know how many times there has been a regime change due to war?
Look, I believe our country's done it a bunch of times and done it the wrong way. It happened in Syria. It's happened across the board in other countries. In Iraq, it was terrible. They never lobbed anything over here. But with this one, I'm old enough to know some old school Iranians, and they had good times when they were younger. And then it went straight to absolute fundamentalists that they're crazy. They're crazy. And it's just a small majority. Now, when I say it's a majority, it's because they're the ones that are in power. And that's what we're talking about. The regular public don't matter over there. And it's getting that way
Yeah.
over here.
So, one thing that I would say is that you're wrong. It hasn't happened many times. It has happened twice in like all of U.S. history.
No,
The
it's
two
happened more than
occasions
that.
both happened in World War II. The first one was Japan, which ended up being a result due to Pearl Harbor. We went over there and just bombed the living shit out of them, which caused the regime change to happen. The second time was Germany in World War II. Whenever obviously. We ended the war very quickly. Hitler ended up unaliving himself, and the regime of Yazidis ended up disbanding and running away so that they wouldn't have to face prison time. Those are both instances in which there was a regime change, and they both resulted in unaliving many, many, many casualties in the process. The other thing that I would mention is we tried to do the same thing in Afghanistan. We failed. The Taliban had taken over, and we tried to cause a regime change to happen. We fought for years and years and years, and there's still not a regime change in Afghanistan. So
Correct.
what makes you think that us going over to a country like Iran and fighting them when they have super countries supporting them as well, like Russia, China, other places like that supporting them, why do you think we'd be able to cause a regime change to happen that way?
Two reasons. And one of them, you're also wrong about the amount of regime changes that have happened. I don't like it, but there's been more than that. But
Can you name me another one?
Ukraine, right now, who put Zelensky in power? I'll wait.
We did not go to war with. We did
No,
not go to
we
war
didn't
with
have to go
Ukraine
to
over a
war.
regime change.
War doesn't have to be on foot. It doesn't have to be with bombs. If you're nasty enough, you do it without that. Okay? And then you got Assad in Syria. Assad, even though he did everything we asked, we still went after him with Obama. So calm down and slow it up a little bit. But the reason why
So
I think
once
it
again, I
is,
mentioned
no,
that
you asked me a
resulted due
question.
to
Let me
war.
answer the question,
I
please.
said that resulted due to war, and you're mentioning other cases outside of war.
No, you asked me. You asked me how many times has it happened, And I answered it.
That wasn't a result to war.
None of this is a war either. It's a conflict. Two
I
different
mean, yeah, that's
things.
what Trump says. Sure, yeah.
No, that's what our press says. It's okay. How old are you?
I'm 21.
You're not old enough to understand. I promise you. And that's okay. As you get older, your mind will develop more and you'll start seeing, your eyes will get open. But
Mm.
what I'm telling you right now is Iran literally hates our guts. Now, is it because we're tied to Israel? More than likely. I won't disagree with you on that. And I don't like their ass either. But what's going on right now, I don't have a problem with until we drag it out. If we turn this into another Afghanistan war, it's going to be a problem.
I
Absolute
can
problem.
almost guarantee that's going to be the result.
I
But
don't think I don't think so.
with that being said, if you support the Iran war, and you said it's due to regime change, like I would like for you to reply to another time, besides the points that I mentioned, in which war caused a regime change to happen. That would be the first point that you still haven't truly answered, because you know it's true that only
I
true
did.
regime changes have happened due to war. You mentioned other things that were miscellaneous that had nothing to do with the war part. The second thing that I would mention is that Trump has already said the regime is destroyed, so why are we still over there? And the third thing would just simply be like, do you think that,
You know he's full of
like,
shit. You know he's full of shit. Just like he said he took their whole Navy out. He hasn't done that. So I'm a realist. I'm not playing the games. I'm not one side or the other. You're not putting me in a damn box. What I'm sitting here telling you, though, is the fact of the matter, we've done it before under the right presidency, under the right governing bodies. We've done it before.
done what before?
But hold on. I didn't finish. It doesn't mean that it's a lasting, sticking thing. Those people will go back to either what they were doing or they'll change because they want to change. Germany did it for sure. Germany went from full blown, you know whatism, to now that they're more tolerant, whatever. And they went to the other extreme too. They should be somewhere in the middle. But with Iran, right now, you have literally 8% that's involved in the government that are dictating everything, and the rest of them hate their guts. I'm telling you straight up. I just wish they would have the nuts to stand up and say, "Hey, we're gonna fight y'all," but they took everything that they could away from them to where they can't defend themselves. If they had a
Yeah,
way to defend themselves, this would be over with tomorrow, without a
yeah.
doubt.
So I think most Iranians want to see the regime change, but I don't think they also want to see all girls elementary schools getting bombed by the United States. I
Dude,
don't
you
think they
can't
want to
you
see
can't
Israel
hen
bombing
you
hospitals.
can't
I'm not
henpeck that
finished. I let you
shit.
talk, so I'm just gonna mute you because I let you talk and you're not letting me talk.
That's it.
I don't think they want those specific instances to happen. I think they would rather us just go to attack the regime, like we did in previous situations. I don't think they're in support of that. I don't think they're in support of what Israel's doing. And also, Trump has mentioned that the reason why this war even started in the first place was due to their nuclear program. The regime change, as he calls it, um, was just a secondary, like, side quest, as he mentioned. Um, he's more interested in their nuclear program. You say that Iran hates the US's guts, which probably leads to the fact that you believe that they're an imminent nuclear threat. Um, Putting the Trump points aside, where he said that they're no longer an imminent nuclear threat 9 months ago, and now he's bombing them because they're an imminent nuclear threat. That could have all been avoided due to the fact that under Obama we were under the JCPOA, which kept Iran from like building nuclear weapons. It stopped them from enriching their uranium to a certain extent, because we had people over there making sure that they weren't doing so. So if that was the case, then why would Trump pull us out of that and then turn right around and say we're going to war with them because they're an imminent nuclear threat?
You sit there and spit out all the speaking points as best you can. Go do real research. I'm not telling you I support Trump. I'm not telling you that at all. Did I vote for him? Yes. But what I'm watching right now, I use my own brain and my common sense and my discernment. I'm not going to sit there and spout out what CNN says all the time, because all those news organizations, they don't give a shit about you or me. The bottom line is the majority over there, and it's a huge majority, they're not the ones in charge. They want freedom. Now, that don't mean that we should normally get involved in something like that, because it's not our party to go to. But when they start chanting death to America, death to Israel, and I don't give a shit what they do to Israel. I don't care. I don't care. But what I do care about is this piece of rock that we're over here on right now with my neighbors and everybody I got to look at every day when I go get breakfast in the morning and all that. Yeah, I'm going to stand up and do something. So, yes, I want him to do what's best for this country. Do I think he's misconstrued sometimes? Can't put it together? I mean, hell, he's 80 years old. 81, I think, maybe now. I don't know. But shit, we have to use common sense. They hate our
Yeah,
guts.
so
Would you would you
so
would you carry your ass over there and just go amongst all of everybody over there and be okay with it? Do you think that would happen?
I think the idea of the people that chant death to America, I don't agree with that. There's people like you that chant death to Iran and the regime. That's whatever. I mean, of course, countries are going to have like conflicting people like that. Is that like a response to the nuclear program thing? I wasn't necessarily talking about the fact that like Trump made a good decision in like involving this war. I'm just explaining to you the true reason why we're over there and why it's very contradictory as to why we're over there,
Well,
and
you
not
didn't tell me
actually the
why.
true point in which you mentioned. Yeah, I did mention why. I said it's because we Trump ended the JCPOA, which caused them to have their sanctions put back on them, which meant that they were able to enrich their uranium again due to the fact that the JCPOA was disbanded.
Well, you didn't go into that much detail, but I'll take that. But do you know why we put tariffs back on them?
We put sanctions back on them because Trump ended the JCPOA.
Well, he we can call it sanctions, but he dressed it up as tariffs. I mean, if you go look at the wording,
No.
so they're
This
not.
was a thing in 2017 that happened.
I
Well,
understand,
2018.
but that was one of the first ones. Did they have to pay more to sell their oil here? Yes,
No.
that's a tariff. Yes, they did.
No,
They most certainly did.
we
They paid
sanctioned
20% more.
we sanctioned us from buying oil from Iran. We get no oil from Iran.
Not
To this
now,
day, we don't get oil from Iran. Yes, because it's sanctioned.
right? But back then, did we?
Yes.
And he dressed it up as a tariff.
No. No. What I'm saying
BP, British
is
Petroleum, was buying.
okay.
Oh my God!
I see where you made the mistake. So
I didn't make the
no, we
mistake. I
didn't buy
got
oil
buddies that are
from them
down there
prior.
that actually work for BP.
Oh,
They
okay,
have
that's
to.
great.
They
But
have
we
to
did
pay to
not.
sell here. Okay, go ahead.
They
Go ahead.
can't sell oil here because it's sanctioned. We don't buy
Not
oil from
anymore.
them. We never did.
Yes, we did. If you
In
believe that
Obama's
lie,
administration, we never did it.
not
And
this
prior to
time,
that,
not since he was reelected, but beforehand, yes, we did. He walked into that program. It was already here. We bought from them and Kuwait, and we even, I'm going to say this very lightly, we stole from Iraq. We stole from them. You think I'm so right wing and I'm like a MAGA nut? I'm not.
no, I don't care
I'll
where you
follow the
land on the
crumbs.
podium. I don't care where you fall on the platform. I think the idea is the fact that we sanctioned oil from Iran. We did not tariff it. Tariffing would mean that we still buy from Iran. That is not true. We sanctioned the oil from
That's exactly
coming
what
to
I
the
just
United
said.
States.
That's exactly what I said. We don't do it
Sanctioned.
anymore.
We still sanction their oil. We sanctioned their oil before the war. We sanctioned the oil back in like 2011, whenever Obama was president, up until he signed the JCPOA, which
You're still not
allowed
hearing
us
me.
to all be buddy again. Well, I mean, if you're just gonna sit and just like spew misinformation, I'm going
No,
to say
I'm
you're
not.
wrong.
I literally agreed with you. We do not, we don't tariff anything from them now. And no, we don't buy anything from them now. Are they sanctioned? Yes. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I was talking about 2017. You can go look up any headline you want to, and especially look in a regular paper, not the ones that come out of DC. I didn't disagree with you
So,
on that.
so 2017, the JCPOA was still active. That's why we were able to buy oil from them. At that point, I still don't think that we were at that time, but I could be mistaken. It's very possible during the JCPOA we did buy oil from them, but it was shortly lived due to the fact that Trump taking away the JCPOA in 2018. That's why we put sanctions back on them, and that's what started this entire enriching uranium thing.
Well, they had been doing that because they just want power, and I understand that. Any country would. But also, when I was talking about 2017 and you talked about 2018 where we cut it off, that was because we made them pay 20% more. You can call it a tariff or not call it a tariff. We gave them a tax. Now, granted, we did it because theirs was extra refined when it got here. We had to do less to it to make it usable in vehicles or to turn into gasoline. So, and that's not the same type of oil we get from Venezuela. But I don't disagree with you on those statements. You just got to listen a little bit. You're worried about getting your speaking points out there. You got to look at the whole picture. The bottom line right now is the regime in Iran good or bad? Seriously, answer that. Not the people, the regime that's there right now, are they good or bad?
The regime is bad, but we're not going to end the regime. It's a waste of time if that's what you want. We're killing innocent people for no reason. We're not going to end the regime. It's just not going to happen.
So
It'll never happen.
The school that we hit, and we tried to blame it on Iran. We tried to say it was them. They had a missile they lobbed up, and it failed and hit the school. Mm-hmm. I don't disagree. That's totally stupid shit. Why would you say that? We definitely hit it. It was us. That wasn't Israel. It wasn't anybody. We knew what happened immediately. Those who deny it, let them deny. But why shield yourself with young, innocent children, especially young ladies? And look, America is bad enough. We are. We do some foul shit. We do some real foul shit. But what I'm talking about is let's weigh it out. Let's put it on the scales of justice. That regime over there is shit. They're terrible. They look, if you are a Democrat, anybody that's in here, I'm not talking about you, host. If you are a Democrat, everything you stand for is against everything they believe. I mean, they will, just because somebody's homosexual, they'll throw you off of a freaking roof over there. I'm talking about the regime. I'm not talking about the people. I want to liberate those people. I think it would be beautiful because in the Middle East, if somebody saw something like that rise up from the ashes and say, hey, this is a sustainable country. They're doing things the right way. They love one another as themselves. They're doing everything just right. Look how they're flourishing. Now, that might be a pipe dream, but damn it, their regime is terrible. The people are amazing.
Yeah, so I think you described it best. That's a pipe dream because it's never going to happen. We're not going to be able to have a regime change happen. You mentioned the fact that it's a horrible thing that those children were unalived. But you don't reply to the fact that, like, due to the fact that, like, we're over there fighting actively, that's something that happened. I don't think that's something to just brush off and, like, act like it didn't happen. We're committing war crimes over there when supposedly, as you're putting it, we want the regime to change when we come out and said that's about their nuclear program. The regime isn't going to change when the war ends. The war would end if Iran gave up its nuclear program in some way, shape, or form in the peace deals that they're negotiating. It has nothing to do with regime change. So when this war ends, potentially, if it does ever end, it would be due to the nuclear program. So how would you feel about that when the war gets pulled out over something that you don't even care about? So it's all that time, money, and killing wasted on something that you don't support.
I'm not going to say that won't happen. I watched my country. I'm old enough to see all kinds of shit that's going on. I'm not going to say that it's not a possibility. But also, I still have hope in what's going on here. And it's very little with the people that I love and the ones that I watch. My question is bigger than that. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do when that shit comes here? If that shit was to come here, what are you willing to do? Are you going to lay
When
down on
what
your
comes to the
knees?
United States?
Yes.
When what comes to the
When
United
extremists
States?
come here, and we've already heard the CIA tell us they are sleeper cells everywhere. When it comes here and they try to take over, and they're going to do it, it's in their religion. That's what they believe. If you read the Quran, their job is to take over the world. And I know some decent Muslims. That's not the issue. It's the ones that are the extremists. And that's literally what I'm talking about. But when they bring it here, and those are the loudest voices, it ain't the quiet ones that just live their lives and love their families and do the best they can do every day. It's the ones that stir the shit up. And just like it is right now with people that choose to go and burn down cities because George Floyd couldn't breathe. Look, it's terrible that happened to him. Tough shit. We have rules and laws here. But that shit right there, don't bring that shit over here. What? Say what you got to say.
I just find it funny that like you actually genuinely think that they're gonna come over here and try to take over the country. Like
They're
that's an
here
actual
now, bro.
realistic thing that
And
would
I
truly
promise you,
happen.
your skinny ass ain't about to do shit
The
about it. What are you
okay,
going to
so
do?
we're talking about my figure now, like it truly
No, I'm just
matters.
saying, what are you going to do? You can use your brain. You're not going to use your brawn.
That's a very unlikely possibility of that ever even being an attempt that happens,
You're
because
crazy.
the likelihood of them making it to the United States and actually being able to form a true attack is very unlikely. That's why we have the National Guard. That's why we have soldiers. I'm not concerned about that. The United States is very safe in that category. And
Okay.
if, like, yes, they do come and attack us, I would expect us to fight back. Of course. It has nothing to do with us going over there and bombing elementary schools and hospitals.
I don't disagree with you, but are you going to stand up when
You're
it comes
just
here?
pivoting.
No, I'm not. Not at all.
Would I enlist in the military? No.
No,
But,
no,
I
no,
mean,
that's
if
not what
that
I
was
asked.
something that happened,
No, I'm not even talking about that. Are you going to take up and do something? God's given all of us abilities. Every one of us. I can't say mine on TikTok, but if you're within a half a mile from me, I can touch you. That's one of my abilities he gave me. The older I get, the more I lose some of it, but I used to have it real good. But also, I can use my hands. I can do other things. You can use your brain. Are you going to do something to defend this country? God gave you something, right?
so I think voting is what gives me the ability to defend the country. I pick the best
You don't agree
possible
that God gave
candidate
you
to
a?
protect the country.
Do you believe God gave you some
I'm
abilities
agnostic, so God doesn't work with me. I'm
at
agnostic, so
all?
I'm unsure if God exists.
Okay, that's better than an atheist. I'll take it. Well, I tell you what, you seem like a smart guy. You really do, and I'm about to get off of here. I want you to go and look up how many ties the Bible has front to back. Just out of curiosity, because you like science, right? Go see
Sure.
the probability of it. Go see the probabilities of it tying into itself. Some of the best minds I ever saw can't deny it. And then maybe I'll come back on here and we'll have a talk. And I think you're a brilliant mind. I think God gave you a great brain. But I'm about to dip out. Hey, Lindsay, I want you to be more open than what you are. You're closed minded a little bit. Be more open minded and let that brain just roam. And then you could come to some discernment. It ain't going to be perfect. It'll change over time when you see things. But as you get older, and I'm older than you, I'm just trying to tell you, I used to feel a lot of the ways that you do. I don't feel that way anymore. Okay? You take care of yourself.
Alrighty, man. You have a good night.
I believe in you.
You as well.